60 seconds. You're about to enter a world where the unthinkable happens. A world where a mother, a grandmother, and a pillar of the community vanishes into thin air. It's day 61 of the search for Nancy Guthrie, and the investigation is reaching a boiling point. The detective's eyes scanned the room, taking in the familiar surroundings of the Guthrie household. But something was off. A sense of unease settled in the pit of his stomach as he realized that Nancy's disappearance was more than just a missing persons case. It was a kidnapping, and the ransom notes were just the beginning. Sting 15 seconds. Welcome to Archive of Enigmas, where we explore true crime, unsolved mysteries, and the darkest corners of human nature. I'm your host, and today's case will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew. Nancy Guthrie was a 55-year-old mother of two, living in the quiet town of Savannah, Georgia. She was a devoted grandmother, a loving wife, and a pillar of the community. Her daughter, Savannah Guthrie, was a well-known journalist, and the family was always in the public eye. But despite their high profile, the Guthries were a close-knit family who valued their private life. They lived in a beautiful home on the outskirts of town, surrounded by lush greenery and a sense of tranquility. Life was good, and the family was happy. But then, everything changed. It was on a chilly winter morning, February 10, 2023, that Nancy Guthrie vanished. Her husband, David, woke up to find her side of the bed empty, and her phone and purse still on the nightstand. He searched the house, calling out her name, but there was only silence. The police were called, and soon the house was swarming with detectives and forensic experts. The investigation revealed that Nancy's disappearance was not just a simple missing persons case. There were signs of a struggle, and a ransom note was found on the kitchen counter. The note demanded a hefty sum of money in Bitcoin, and the kidnapper threatened to harm Nancy if the demands were not met. The police were racing against time to track down the kidnapper and rescue Nancy. The digital trail was the only lead they had, and they were following it meticulously. As the days went by, more ransom notes were found, each one more menacing than the last. The kidnapper was using a complex system of cryptocurrency and encryption to communicate with the family. The FBI's crypto tracers were working around the clock to track the blockchain and identify the kidnapper. But the trail was cold, and the authorities were running out of time. The family was beside themselves with worry, and the community was in shock. How could something like this happen in their quiet town? The investigation was reaching a critical point, and the fate of Nancy Guthrie hung in the balance. The authorities were working tirelessly to track down the kidnapper. They were following every lead, every tip, and every hint. The FBI's Behavioral Analysis Unit was profiling the kidnapper, trying to understand their motivations and patterns. The crypto tracers were monitoring the blockchain, waiting for the kidnapper to make another move. The police were canvassing the neighborhood, talking to witnesses, and gathering evidence. But as the days turned into weeks, the investigation was hitting a wall. The kidnapper seemed to have vanished into thin air, leaving behind only a trail of digital breadcrumbs. The family was growing desperate, and the community was on edge. The police were under pressure to deliver results, and the clock was ticking. As the investigation continued, new evidence emerged. A suspicious transaction was detected on the blockchain, and the crypto tracers were hot on the trail. The transaction led to a mysterious IP address, which was traced to a small internet cafe on the outskirts of town. The police raided the cafe, but the suspect was long gone. The investigation was at a crossroads, and the authorities were not sure which way to turn. The family was holding on to hope, but the reality of the situation was setting in. Nancy Guthrie had been missing for 61 days, and the chances of her being found alive were dwindling by the minute. But then, a shocking twist emerged. The investigation was taking a toll on the family and the community. The town was on edge, and everyone was living in fear. The police were working around the clock, but the kidnapper seemed to always be one step ahead. The family was trying to stay strong, but the emotional toll was evident. Savannah Guthrie was using her platform to raise awareness about her mother's disappearance. But the media attention was also taking a toll. The family was torn between keeping the case in the public eye and protecting their private lives. As the days turned into weeks, the town was struggling to come to terms with the reality of the situation. Nancy Guthrie was still missing, and the kidnapper was still on the loose. The question on everyone's mind was, what's next? And would Nancy ever be found? Before we get to the most disturbing part of this story, I want to hear from you. Drop in the comments. Do you think the kidnapper will be caught? And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. We upload new cases every single day. Join the conversation and let's get to the bottom of this mystery together. As the investigation continues, new theories are emerging. Some believe that the kidnapper is a former acquaintance of the family, seeking revenge. Others think that the kidnapping is a random act of violence, committed by a stranger. But one thing is certain, the kidnapper is highly sophisticated, using advanced technology to stay one step ahead of the authorities. The crypto tracers are working around the clock to track the blockchain. But the kidnapper always seems to be one move ahead. The question on everyone's mind is, what's the motive? Is it money, revenge, or something more sinister? The truth is still out there, waiting to be uncovered. And as the investigation reaches its climax, the fate of Nancy Guthrie hangs in the balance. But then, the unthinkable happens. This case remains one of the most shocking in history. The question of what happened to Nancy Guthrie may never be answered. What do you think happened? Let us know in the comments below. If you found this case fascinating, our next video covers something even darker. Like this video if it gave you chills. Subscribe for daily mysteries. And we'll see you in the shadows.